Let's pay homage to the Lord Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Theruvan Saranai, everyone. Let me ask you a small question. What do you know about the Lord Buddha? What do you think of him? I'm pretty sure you may get so many answers to your mind. What if the Prince Siddhartha or the King Siddhartha couldn't understand Dhamma, realize Dhamma? Do you think he would be a special person? Today we have Lord Buddha because of what? Imagine the Lord Buddha was Prince Siddhartha. But if Prince Siddhartha or King Siddhartha died, will his tooth become a relic? What was the difference? What is the difference? To children, the difference is the Dhamma. The King Siddhartha became Lord Buddha because of the Dhamma. His relics are so precious and valuable because of the Dhamma, because of the realization he had about the world, about the universe, about the whole existence. Let me tell you a small anecdote. There was a dictator who tried to rule the world. In his room, in his house, there were pictures of all the religious leaders in the world. He pasted them around his house. He studied every religion. He knew about the religion of those religious leaders. But he didn't follow any religion. He was an atheist. One day, in his last few moments of his life, he did a massacre. A whole disaster happened because of him. Thousands of people died. Thousands of people died because of the war he conducted. On his deathbed, in his last few minutes of his life, he called his secretary and asked, "Bring me a picture of a religious leader for me to follow him." And then he looked around his house for those pictures. Every leader he saw from the beginning had something in their hand. Maybe a weapon, either a weapon or at least a chanting thread or a flower. While looking at those pictures, he stopped at one picture. That appearance was very calm and serene. He didn't have anything in his hand. Then he took that picture and asked his secretary to give all the details about this religious leader. Do you know who he was? Of course, that's exactly what you're thinking. It was none other than Lord Buddha. On his deathbed, he followed Buddhism. He had a great passionate towards Lord Buddha. But he didn't know his Dhamma. He didn't know what he preached, what he realized. The mere look of the Lord Buddha's appearance changed him. So, my dear children, I want you to look at your lives and think what Lord Buddha has changed. You know, when I was very small, when I was young, I used to do the virtues, do the rituals, offering flowers, offering oil lamps, offering a glass of water to Lord Buddha. But the things I knew about him were the stories of how great he was when he was a Buddha aspirant, the things he did, the sacrifices he made, and how great his life was. Yet I didn't know the Dhamma he preached. Knew a very little about his preaching, his teaching when I was small. Today, the Lord Buddha I see, the Dhamma I see, is completely different to what I knew when I was young. So, my dear children, today I know the problem lies within me. But when I was young, when I was lay, I always thought that the problem lies in the outside world. I searched happiness from the outside world. And I fought for things that I wanted. Not like fighting yet. In the mind, we were very ambitious. We had targets to achieve, to go up in the ladder, be a leader or a person with the things we thought were pleasurable, to have things around us and be happy. But when I heard these great teachings of the Lord Buddha, when I heard the first few words, the great teaching, it made me realize what a waste of time. Now I know that nobody can give you happiness. Nobody can give you sorrow either. When you face a critical situation, the way you act changes. You won't put the blame on other people. How does that happen? That is the only way. The only way is to realize the Dhamma. The Dhamma changed me completely. Just think, in your life, you study to become a great person, maybe a manager, engineer, doctor. Do you think this is the first time that you're becoming like that? Trying to become like that? Oh no, my dear children, it's not the first time. In your entire samsara, you've been doing that. You study today to have a good job, to have a better life. Do you think this is the only life you studied this much? You've been studying so many times. When you were born as a human in many lives, even this life you do the same thing. How many times did you think to become a better person? If that journey ended, would you do it again? Look at your parents. Look at your grandparents. They spent 70 years, 80 years doing so many things. On their deathbed, what do they have? Ask them, Grandma, are you satisfied? Are you content? Then if she says yes, then you know that what she did was right. Yet, don't they try to be happy? If the things they did brought them happiness, why do they look for it over and over again? Now I'm talking about this life. Imagine the lives you've been spending doing the same thing. Just take, if you're a student today, how many times have you been born and became a student? Numerous times. Once Lord Buddha said, when there was a man who wanted to bury himself in a place where he has never been buried, when Lord Buddha got to know that, he said, in this very place you've been buried so many times with the same name. If he was buried in the same name for so many times, imagine about the rest. So my dear children, when I say the Dhamma, to me, Dhamma is everything. Everything means it's the only truth that lies in this world. Since Siddhartha became Lord Buddha because of Dhamma, today we talk about Lord Buddha because of Dhamma. A man, a dictator, changed his life by a mere look at the Lord Buddha. What if he knew the teaching of Lord Buddha? He could have changed completely. Today I'm talking to you as a disciple of Lord Buddha because the gift I received from Lord Buddha was none other than the Dhamma. The person today is completely different to who I was. How did that happen? The only medicine is Dhamma. I told you that when I contemplate on Dhamma, I realize that nobody is responsible for my happiness. The only person who is responsible for my happiness is myself. Why is that? Because the whole world lies within your mind. You won't put the blame on other people. You won't seek happiness from the outside world. Don't you think that much is that much of understanding can stop you from crying for things that you want from the outside world? Isn't that amazing? So, my dear children, I want to look at your life and think, what is it that you look for? Do you want to be a better person? Do you want to achieve so many grades? Maybe a PhD? I want you to think about this. The only way to stop this samsaric journey is the Dhamma. Everything else we've been doing for eons and eons. We can't remember those. That's the problem. So I want you to think whether you utilize your time correctly. Do you want to spend doing something worthless? If you want to make use of the time properly, the only thing that you can do would be realizing the Dhamma. That's how I feel. I've been wasting myself for so long. It's not that I've done something wrong. I did what my parents told me to do. I kept on doing, achieving my goals, reaching higher up in the ladder. But when I turn back, none of that matters at all. The only worthy thing that I've done so far is practicing the path, realizing the Dhamma, becoming a disciple of the Lord Buddha. He is the greatest teacher in this entire world, entire universe, who taught us the way to stop suffering, stop this samsaric journey. If it's not for him, nobody can stop this. The other religious leaders, they're great. They tell us to become good, become better, to find happiness. But the problem is, it does not last long. You have to keep on searching it. You're traveling up and down. Why? Because we can't put the full stop without Dhamma. Dhamma is the only gateway to stop this samsara. So, my dear children, today I'm telling you, showing you how important the Dhamma to our lives, to my life, to Lord Buddha's life. The Lord Buddha would not be Lord Buddha if it's not for Dhamma. So, today you have received a great opportunity. Why is that? Dear children, you're born human. Born a human is not easy. It's very rare. You may have heard the story of the turtle who comes up to the surface of the ocean. Within like 100 years time. Do you know the human life is very rare? Lord Buddha has preached that a turtle who comes to the surface of the ocean in every 100 years and seeing the moon with his one eye, because one of his eyes were blinded. And so it has to align so many causes for that to happen. So being born as a human is that much rare. And just think, you're not just a human. You're born in the time of the Lord Buddha. His Dhamma is alive. His disciples are alive. How meritorious you are. You're so meritorious, and your merit cannot be measured. It's that meritorious, my dear children. If you are that meritorious, do you want to waste your time without getting this medicine, getting this gift from the Lord Buddha? I want you to think about it. Do you want to spend your time doing useless things? Do you know how many times have you given birth to children? How many lives? If you collect those babies, the mountain Mahameru would pass. That much you've spent your life in this samsara as a human, yet you're still in this samsara because you couldn't end your journey. Because we didn't receive them. We all are still in the samsara because we couldn't achieve, we couldn't realize the Dhamma. We couldn't stop this journey, so we're still moving forward. Do you want to move forward, live your life forever? It's okay. But are you happy to do that? Have you been happy? Have you been satisfied? The only way to satisfy yourself is to realize Dhamma. Because we did so many things to be happy. But yet again, we are not content yet. So, we have this great gift. So I want you to think about it. The answer should come within you. I shared my story, how happy, how content I am today compared to my lay life. I told you, I don't seek happiness from the outside world. That I learned, that I realized from these great teachings of the Dhamma. I wish every one of you find that bliss, find that contentment in your life, because we have the medicine right now. Before it's too late, let's find it. To conclude the sermon, let me tell you a small stanza from the Bhagavad. Kiccho manussa patilabo, kiccho machana jivitam, kiccang sat dhamma savanam, kiccang buddhanupado. The human life is very rare. Listening to sermons, listening to the teachings of the Lord Buddha is very rare. And Lord Buddhas are very rare. So build your Lord Buddha inside of you, inside your mind. Build him and achieve the ultimate bliss of Nibbana. May the Noble Triple Gem be with you.